Okay, lesson 35, the distance formula. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use the concept of distance on a number line. So it says find a number that's 2/3 of the way from -4 2/3 to 3 1/3. So let's think of this on a number line. So if I'm at -4 2/3 and I want to go to 3 1/3, and I want to find the number that's 2/3 of the way. Okay, so if I took this and I divided it into thirds, let's just say this amount is 2/3, okay? Then I want to know what the number is. That's the question. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change these to improper fractions. So this one's going to be -14/3, and this one's going to be 10/3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the distance between the two of them. So the first step is to take the larger one and subtract the smaller one. Now be careful with the signs, okay? This is getting me the distance between, right? Okay, now when I do that, I'm going to get 24/3, which is 8, okay? Now, I want to take that distance, and I want to find out what 2/3 of that is. So I'm going to multiply it by 2/3. Okay, so that's 16/3. Now, I want to go 16/3, but I want to start here. So I'm going to add that to the lower number. So I'm going to add that to the lower number. So that's going to give me 2/3. This is the number that I will end up at. So, in other words, I found out that the whole distance here was, 8? Then 2/3 of it was 16/3. That's 5 1/3. So I went like 5 1/3, okay? And this ended up being, say, 2/3. But the number where I ended up is the number 2/3. Now, it's not 2/3 because I went 2/3 of the way. It's the numeral 2/3, okay? Okay, let's try another one. So again, I'm going to find the distance between them. So again, you have to have these in improper fractions. So this is going to be 41/5, and this is going to be -14/5. So take the larger number minus the smaller number. Okay, find out how far you want to go. You want to go 4/5, multiply it times that. It says from this to that, so starting here. Then we're going to add it back to the number we're starting at. So this is going to become plus a positive. So that's 55/5, right? So that's 11. So that's 44/5. So that gives you a 30/5. That gives you 30/5. So the number will be 6. Okay, let's try something else. Now these were on number lines. But what if it was on a coordinate plane? If we want to find the distance, we need to know the distance formula. So I'm going to write it right here. You need to memorize this. Okay, so this is the first x minus the second x. First x minus the second x. Put it in parentheses squared. The whole thing is going to be underneath the square root. First y minus the second y. First y minus the second y. Now this is -6 being squared, and this is going to be -8 being squared. Now when I square those, I'm going to get 36 plus 64. You know, after you square them, you will always have positives. Well, that's the square root of 100, so that is 10. So the distance between those 2 points is 10. Okay? So you try this one for a minute. You pause the video and try this one. Okay, so you should have tried that by now. So the distance is going to be the first x minus the second x squared, plus the first y minus the second y. Watch those signs right there. So this is going to be -8 squared, and this is going to be 8 squared. So this is going to be 64 plus 64. Now, since you know the square root of 64, it's best to think of this, since we're getting ready to simplify it, as just 2 times 64. because I can take the square root of 64 and leave the 2 underneath. And you get your answer. Alrighty, have fun.